Dr. Morozova, how nice to see you.
About those jobs you mentioned.
Aha, I knew you'd be back. Your talents need a proper outlet, and I have just what the doctor ordered.
Ugh. Let's get to the point, shall we?
Business first, I like it. Listen in then. Soon I'll be inviting a few friends here. A small affair, intimate. I'll be very busy entertaining my guests, of course.
I don't follow.
A few of them will have rather deep pockets, if you know what I mean.
You're asking me to steal from your own guests?
No, of course not. You think so poorly of me. That's just tacky, Liza. However,
There we go.
there is this one merchant on the guest list, Fyodor. He's known to show off a lovely antique pocket watch that an acquaintance of mine covets. I'd love for someone to teach him a lesson in being humble. And of course, I wouldn't want it to be traced to me. You'd be perfect talent for the role, don't you agree?
This sounds incredibly dubious, but the money could be good. So, what would be my cut in this whole arrangement?
I'll tell you what, I'm feeling generous tonight. Finders keepers rules. Bring the watch to me and everything else you find is yours. How does that sound?
Sure. I'll lend you a hand.
Excellent. In that case, I'll see you on the night. I'll make sure to warm them up with some discounted vodka. It should be good and ready for you.
Magician's best friend, huh?
Exactly.
I should go.
Pleasure as always.
Ah, Dr. Morozova. How are things in modern medicine?
Hey, I've got a little something for you.
Huh?
I helped Anastasia purchase a violin for your personal use. It's yours now, so you can practice anywhere, anytime.
You're not serious, are you?
Serious as a heart attack.
Liza, thank you so much. This is incredible. I am the first person in my family to own my own instrument. I will start practicing right away. I promise I'll make you and Anastasia proud.
I know you will.
Thank you again. I won't forget this. Hey, Liza.
May we speak somewhere in private?
Of course, Liza. Let's meet in my hut.
Perfect. Here's what I want you to do, Marusa. You work far too hard. Take care of yourself and spend the evenings resting.
Get away from me!
Goodness!
Oh!
Fly away now.
Liza, what a lovely surprise.
I wondered if it was a good time to continue our tour. I know I've taken far too much of your time already.
Liza, please. I take as much enjoyment from our time together as you. Perhaps even more. Now the question is, where shall we go? You know, the creature you asked about before, the Nav, at the time I knew nothing more than what was in the book. However, I dug a little further and found that we happen to have our very own Nav legend right here in town, on Lover's Island.
How thrilling! I would indeed be most interested to learn more.
It's decided then. We're off to Lover's Island, where tales of our Nav await. Ah, splendid. It's still here.
Is this something you've done before? Tours of Lover's Island for the local townswomen?
Ha! Only for those with a thirst for folklore, who also desire to spend an evening in a cold boat. In other words, never. Though I've made the journey alone many times.
Then I feel lucky to be beside you. Did you say a cold boat?
I did indeed.
So, Lover's Island. Such a curious name.
You will soon come to learn just how curious.
And you say this place has a connection to a nav?
Yes, you see, a Nav is said to arise from a tragic or untimely death. A soul grown hateful towards those who enjoy the life of which they were robbed.
Very cryptic. And who exactly is this nav in question?
Several hundred years ago, this town and its surrounding counties were owned by a cruel lord, a general. The lord's most loyal underling was a man named Dragomir.
Dragomir?
Yes, Dragomir was a native of town, and as such he had been the lord's closest advisor since being gifted with the estate.
To be gifted a town and all the people within it. Such strange, cruel rules we live by.
Liza, I fear you are beyond correct. With all his flaws, Dragomir had been vital in keeping the townsfolk safe from his lord's most vicious acts, redirecting his anger elsewhere.
And the island?
In his youth, Dragomir spent many a long day escaping to the island with his childhood love Elena, far from the eyes of their parents.
So this is an island where lovers elope.
You won't think it's so romantic when you hear the full story.
That's a shame. It is a hauntingly beautiful place for romance to blossom.
That's not to say romance cannot return to these shores.
I look forward to hearing the rest of it. Let's head out.
Ah, we've arrived. Explore at your leisure. What do you have there?
It looks like part of an old oar, preserved in the mud.
We are surely not the first to set ashore here under the cover of darkness. Let us continue the tale. The Lord was known to marry every year only for his wives to disappear, leaving behind terrible rumours of their demise. When it once again came time for the Lord to take a wife, Dragomir's childhood love, Elena, was a victim of the Lord's desires.
Such evil.
Enough to rival even the darkest of authors' minds, though I'm afraid this is not fiction. Where were we? Oh yes. On the eve of her betrothal to the Lord, Elena plotted with Dragomir to elope together, leaving town and the cruel Lord far behind. They were to meet in the old abandoned house on this island, their secret childhood sanctuary. Now let us continue exploring.
An old bronze candlestick.
Perhaps it is the very same that was lit on that dark night. The Lord held tight patrols around the perimeter of his estate. The only route of escape was across the lake where no guards patrolled. Dragomir held watch duty outside the Lord's chambers that evening. He would have to wait until the dead of night before he could leave unnoticed. He would leave a boat for Elena to row to the island after dusk, where she would light a single candle in the window as a sign of her arrival.
A beacon of hope on the darkest of nights.
Dragomir would meet her there, and the two would sail together to the opposite shore, where a horse and freedom awaited.
To risk one's life for love.
Would you do the same?
For the right person, yes, I believe I would.
Then this right person you speak of should consider themselves lucky beyond compare.
Would you?
Even if love were not a factor, I would do so, just to help her escape a cruel and undeserved fate. Though I am somewhat mistrustful of horses. Let us continue.
An abandoned house.
I believe it predates the Nav legend. A hermit is said to have lived here during the Dark Ages. The hour approached, and Dragomir crept from the door of his lord's chambers, making for the lake. He arrived at the shore to see Elena's boat was absent. As to be expected, she must be awaiting him on the island.
All according to plan, thus far.
He rowed through the dark water. As he drew nearer, a light became visible, flickering on the island. Dragomir reached the shore and ran to the doors of the house, his heart filled with joy.
You really know how to set up a character for a fall. I'm picturing him skipping with a picnic basket in hand.
Ha! It's a storyteller's #1 trick of the trade. The higher the heart, the greater the fall. Dragomir flung the door open to find no sign of Elena, just a solitary candle burning upon the windowsill.
Haunting.
Quite.
It appears to be some kind of blade.
Yes. I'd say a spear tip. The remnant of a bloody deed, perhaps. The tale continues. The door to the house suddenly slammed shut, followed by the sound of a large bolt sliding into place and a familiar voice. "You dare try to flee with that which is mine?" The Lord spoke, and Dragomir's eyes filled with horror.
I have a suspicion they aren't getting on that horse.
Now you will burn, spoke the Lord, and with that the house was ablaze. Dragomir screamed in anguish as the cabin was engulfed. On any approach to the windows, the spears of the Lord's men would greet him. He was trapped. Dragomir burned to death in this very house, betrayed by his love through fear.
And what of her?
Elena was wed to the Lord that very morning, the scent of Dragomir's burning flesh still clinging to the Lord's beard as they kissed. Her fate after that day is unknown.
Such evil as I've never heard.
Then you should consider yourself lucky.
And with that, I'm assuming, a Nav was born. One who knows only hatred, pain, and despair.
Well, yes, according to the local residents, though I find the reality far more comforting.
Which is?
That Dragomir's suffering ended that night when his body could no longer take the flame.
Perhaps even before that, when the smoke overwhelmed his lungs.
I have such a wonderful time sharing these grisly tales with you. I almost forget how logical your medical mind truly is.
You truly believe them to be tales?
I believe all folk tales have a root in reality. The often brutal conditions of our world cause such unspeakable suffering. This makes us look beyond our physical confines to find solace and justice in the magical.
Perhaps there is more truth in some of these tales than you realize.
What do you mean, Miss Morozova?
I suppose I have seen things that make me less skeptic.
I would be eager for you to share these things when you are ready.
Yes, I may.
Liza, I tour the world if it could be in your company, but it may be for the best that this is our last. I fear people will start to gossip if they see us alone together another night.
I understand. Thank you, Roman, for giving me the pleasure of your company these few nights.
And thank you, Miss Morozova, for indulging every word of my old tales. Now allow me to play chaperone one last time and return you to the mainland.
Of course. Today is the day of Evgeny's duel. I should head to Lover's Island if I don't want to miss it. Strange.